Mr. Stubb has now moved away from those traditional conservative views that have always characterized Finnish society and Scandinavia in general, namely, a balanced approach to cooperation with Russia. We may well have had our differences on matters relating to European policy, but when it comes to endorsing what are, in essence, terrorist acts, it seems to me that the overwhelming majority of Finnish society, as demonstrated by the statements made by several Finnish MPs, will not support Mr. Stubb. No one should ever express support for such actions, whatever the motivation. No one. If you do, you are a terrorist yourself. If you are also the president, I think people should question whether this is the president. Obviously, it's not my business. Finland is a sovereign state, but they should question whether they've elected the right president. A person who condemns, excuse me, supports, cannot be considered a normal, sane individual.
When it comes to lessons in democracy, we definitely don't need anyone teaching us about it. We have a genuine democracy. As for the so-called leading exponent of democracy, the United States, there is absolutely no democracy there whatsoever. As for Europe, one could also discuss this topic at length or briefly and come to the conclusion that democracy in those very Western European countries, which still hold Russophobic views today, or rather, not even the countries themselves, but their so-called leaders, I said so-called because their people don't support them, both Scholz and Merz are, sadly, chancellors who, even setting aside their Russophobia, are having a negative impact on economic policy and on the state architecture of modern Germany, a country that has always been among the most significant players in European politics, the economy, and on the European continent as a whole. This is precisely where the crisis lies. It is not merely a crisis of democracy. It is a crisis of common sense, a crisis of a normal attitude towards people, a crisis of a normal attitude towards security and cooperation in Europe. Against this backdrop, parliamentarians, public figures, and ordinary people in many countries are returning to common sense and the centuries-old values of European civilization, values that have nothing in common with the trends being imposed from across the ocean. Multiculturalism and all such notions, as well as Russophobia, which is entirely alien to these countries, are clearly artificial. Europe and Russia have always been together, geographically, historically, and culturally. Russia is an integral part of European civilization. It has been, is, and will remain so, no matter how much certain so-called leaders try to claim the opposite through their pathetic get-togethers in Kyiv.